What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Out of the Park Baseball 26, where we are rebuilding the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we're joining you to attack the second half of 2030. It is July 18th. Our Pirates are near the top of the power rankings, actually at first, and we're 59-38, leading the NL Central. We have the best record in all of baseball. And I think we're positioned well to make a push in the playoffs this year, but we're going to have to make it there first, obviously. In this video, I think we're going to look to start progressing toward that goal. Last we left off, we obviously completed the first-year player draft and simulated through the All-Star break. Now we are sitting here on the 18th, and we have 2.5 months of baseball left in front of us before we will kind of learn our fate and where we will play in the playoffs, who we will potentially be facing. All of these questions will be answered soon, but we've got to obviously play these games first. So that's going to be the plan for today. We're going to work through the rest of July here. Obviously, we have the trade deadline coming up on the 31st. I don't know that we're going to be, tremendously active in that. I've been sort of looking at the trade block off camera a bit and also considering our team needs. I'm not really sure what we might look to add, but I think we can talk about that more once we get closer to the deadline itself, and maybe more players are added to the trade block, more teams turn into sellers, and we kind of have a clearer picture of what we might need. But I'm super excited to get this second half started. Like I mentioned, we're going to do all of July. We're also going to do August, I think, in this video as well. I don't really have a firm end date in mind. We'll just kind of see how it goes and play it by ear. If it's smooth sailing, maybe we go a little bit further. But I also know in August sometime we have to assign players to the Arizona Fall League, so we will make decisions there on who we want to get extra playing time come October and get a little bit of extra development. So it should be all in all an exciting episode. We made a few deals last episode. If you missed out, we made a couple of minor trades, and we also, of course, drafted a bunch of new players. Most notably, I think our top two picks are the ones I'm obviously most excited for. We have Bill Bumgarner joining the organization. His nickname is Merlin, and he throws left-handed. He's 18, and he looks like he has really balanced movement, control, and strikeout upside. You love how far along his fastball is. He can touch triple digits. He has high work ethic. He's great at holding runners with great stamina. I'm really excited to see what he can turn into. And we also brought on Jerry Blashill. I think I'm going to start pronouncing it Blashill. That was how ChatGPT told me to do it. Previously, I was saying Blashill, but I think it is Blashill. So we're gonna try to stick with that and remain consistent. But we may end up just calling him Kung Fu Panda because that is such an iconic nickname. But he brings great power potential. Also super young, durable, corner outfield bat with good baseball IQ and nice adaptability as well. So I think we got two really high upside players with our first two picks, and we got some nice lottery tickets down the board as well. So we'll kind of see how all of those players develop as we go along here. But we're going to start with this big home stretch here. I think I'm actually ready to play some games. I've been we haven't had much action the last two episodes, so I'm excited to get back on the field where our team is, again, one of the best in all of baseball. Fifth in the NL in runs scored, fourth in the NL in runs allowed. So we're, upper third in both categories. We're a pretty good base running team. We have pretty good defense. Hoping everyone can stay healthy. Obviously, we have Wyatt Sanford on the shelf for the rest of the season. So, fingers crossed we can still, keep our current team together as it is constructed, because obviously something is working out well if we're 59-38. But I'm going to sort of monitor trade deadline activity in the background. If I find something interesting I want to do, I will, of course, interrupt this stretch of games. But I think it is also likely we just wait and handle it over these last 3 days of the month. So I kind of want to play through this series against Detroit, this series against Cleveland, and this series against LA to kind of, establish where we're at, see what happens with the team. and then we can kind of check in on the trade deadline news here and reevaluate going forward. But this series against the Dodgers will be interesting to zoom in on because they are, of course, the second best team in the NL and really kind of, the closest team to us in terms of fighting for that top seed. We definitely want home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so hopefully we can catch a few games against them. But let's get rolling here. I'm excited to see how we do, and we'll kind of just see how far we can take it. But I'm going to do these first 3 series, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, pretty good week of play for us. 2 of 3 against Detroit, 2 of 3 against Cleveland, but we do unfortunately lose 2 of 3 against LA. So we're still looking good. We're 64-42. I don't think losing 2 games to LA really hurts us too badly. There are 2 games behind us now for top in the NL. We're here on the brink of the trade deadline, and I've spent quite a bit of time searching for deals that might make sense for us, and I'm not really finding anything because when I go in here, first I try to make it realistic because there are players on the trade block who should not be here. They're on contending teams like Griffin Jacks. Atlanta is contending. I was going to say Andres Munoz, Texas. They're pretty contending. I try to strike a balance when I do this of I'll take a look at the standings and see how far out teams are on wild card games. Atlanta's only 2.5 out, and Texas is right there as well, 1 game out of a wild card. So that takes a lot of teams off the board immediately, and I search through these real bottom feeder teams to try to find any kind of player we could use, whether that's a corner infielder, backup type, or a reliever, whether that's very high leverage or just a lefty specialist, and I haven't really found much yet. I'm going to keep looking. We obviously have 2 more days of game time or 3 more days of game time before we find something, but when I was searching here too, it's there are no teams that are rebuilding, and there are so many teams that are in win now mode. There's only as far as rebuilding team goes, it's just the Giants and the Royals. So it's kind of hard to get value out of the teams unless they're toggled to rebuilding. If teams are toggled to win now, they're less likely to give up major league caliber assets. So it's kind of a tough balance. I don't know if we're going to be active at this deadline at all, or we may just have to rely on internal depth to support our team. But something I've noticed over the last week or so of play is that Mike Burrows has really struggled out of the gate. He had a shoulder injury earlier in the year, and he came back and made 1 good start on the 9th prior to the All-Star break, where he had a 67 game score, but he's kind of had 2 duds since then, 2 real stinkers. So hoping he can kind of rediscover it. Everyone else has been pretty good. Hunter Green has been hot as of late, and McElroy, Jones, BB have all been pretty solid. Lineup-wise, we're shifting things around a bit. I think Carson Bench's numbers are starting to climb. He's heating up a bit, which is good. He's finally awake. He's a second half demon, we can hope, or at least he was last season, so hoping to see the same out of him this year. And all in all, I think we're doing pretty well. So I'm going to go up to the trade deadline here and just kind of confirm with you guys whether we're going to decide to make moves or not. Okay, guys, not our best look here against San Francisco on the road. We had a couple bits of news come through, and they were both injury related. First off, Elian Pena had a hyperextended ankle. I felt like that sounded a little bit serious to have him play through, even though it's just minimal and moderate impact. So we decided to throw him on to the 10-day. I'm really kind of worried about him in the long term because if you look at his injury history, it's pretty freaking long. You wonder if he'll come back as fragile. He was not previously, but I would not be surprised if he returns as fragile. But just to be safe, we put him on the 10-day, and we have called back up Alex Harrington, who will play full-time shortstop for us just to be kind of a glove-first option there. So, still relatively early. I don't know that we've seen much production out of him yet. Additionally, Hunter Green had a mild calf strain, which shouldn't, interrupt his role in the rotation much. But he was on such a good track and then he kind of had a blow up where he got hurt. So don't like to see that. But we're, of course, at the trade deadline, and I managed to find a deal that I think I like. Generally happy with our pitching, although I will say I'm giving the side eye to Ben Abelt and a little bit to Brian Abreu. But if we go to stats on the year, they've mostly been good. Abreu has been pretty decent as our closer, 19 shutdowns to only 7 meltdown. I think Abelt might be a little bit outclassed right now at the majors. He hasn't really had all that much experience at AAA, and we kind of just brought him up earlier on in the year once Jonathan Santucci kind of made it clear that he did not have the tools to succeed this year. So I think we can look to acquire another left-handed reliever and maybe bump him back down for a little bit more seasoning, just have somebody more well-established. And I managed to find that player on the trade block, shockingly. And that player, of course, will be... no, not free agents. What am I going to here? Here we go. Jose Alvarado, the juicer himself, is at this point 35, and we're tapping a division rival here, St. Louis. They're toggled to win now, but I look at the standings, and, they're pretty far under 500. They're 15.5 back of us in the division and 7.5 out of a wild card. So I think it's fair to assume that they would like to be sellers. Alvarado at this point doesn't throw nearly as hard as he does in real life, but is having statistically a very strong season. 21 saves, no blown. Sub 2 ERA. WHIP is looking very strong as well. FIP is looking nice. Has not given up a homer. And batters are hitting under 200 against him. So he's kind of like the best of both, leverage lefty, where maybe Holton and Romero can focus more on, lefty specialist roles, and we can just kind of run like a dual closer situation with Alvarado and Abreu. Maybe we put them both as stoppers, and then it's just sort of at the discretion of our manager who to use. So... we're getting them to retain all of his remaining salary. I don't know that he is anything more than a rental for us at this point. You can see his ratings against both sides here. It's not, it's pretty serviceable. I think he can pitch both ways, which makes him an effective leverage lefty, of course. So I think this is going to be the move. And you may be wondering what the price is. Well, they're pretty willing to move off of him. All we have to give up is this reliever, Nestor Vidales, who has sort of come out of nowhere for us through our minor league system, and he throws really hard. He's got big stuff, flashy tools, but he's walking almost 10 per 9, which is unplayable in my mind, and we think that tool is pretty much tapped out. But their scout could see it differently. OSA may see it differently. You could say this is a little bit of a ripoff, but at the end of the day, they get full MLB control of a 21-year-old relief pitcher who definitely has all the tools if he can just find the control. So I've been kind of wanting to move off of Vidales ever since he came on my radar. He looks like a real prospect, like a real person, not computer generated. So maybe they can turn him into something. So far he's been kind of a closer at the AA level for us this season, although he was battling some injury stuff as well. So this is going to be the deal that we make, so I will go ahead and send this one through. And, it's no salary added to our books. Alvarado comes in and can hopefully help us push toward the playoffs and give us just another strong option in the back of our bullpen. So I think that's going to be our only move as well. I don't like any of the batters that are on the open market, and I also don't know where the weak link in our lineup is, to be honest, because everyone is playing pretty well, knock on wood, and I think there are guys at AAA that could come up as well and contribute. So I kind of think we're just going to sit tight on offense and, let our guys develop, and, our talent, it should shine through because, we are a obviously very talented team. If we go to, where is the screen that like shows, how we rank against the rest of the league? I'm wondering. I know it's here somewhere, but anyway, if I find that, I'm getting distracted. But I think we're done here. So we're gonna wrap July, and then I'm just gonna push through this remaining road trip here at Arizona, and then rejoin you at August, and we can kind of review the month as a whole and any notable news that has come across, on the trade deadline as a whole. So I hope you're satisfied with that. I think we're going to, like I mentioned, kick out Abel and just slot Alvarado in. And then I will be back with hopefully some more victories here. We're on a 3-game losing streak. We got to turn this around. Quickly going to check in here. So far, so good. We did end up getting swept against San Francisco, so that's not ideal, of course. But took 2 of 3 on the road in Arizona against the Snakes. This first game, Alvarado got in there late. We actually set him as our closer, and he just came in and shut it down, which is awesome. Dan Beebe had a really strong game. And then in classic fashion, Alvarado, who had not given up a home run all season long, then comes in the following day and, of course, gives up a home run. So that's just kind of how it goes. We've ended up slotting him in as our closer. And we're going to try to use him as much as we can. We bumped Abreu down to setup for now. He's still, they're kind of similar in their quantity of shutdowns. It's just Alvarado has had much fewer meltdowns than Abreu, but they're kind of both platoon closing, and then we have Randy as a backup too. So we may just toggle Randy off of backup closer to just regular setup or something. But this is how we're rocking for now. We only have one designated lefty specialist, I guess, but I think the idea is that Holton or Alvarado could serve that role if they have to. So that's how we're rocking. As far as record, we're still 66-46, 6 games up on Cincinnati. I think next steps, we're going to start moving a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go through this series against San Francisco. We've got 4 against Chicago before going on the road to Cincinnati for 3. So we're going to do this whole stretch of games here, and I will be back with you on the 15th. All right, guys, you can see, a little bit up and down. The Giants just have our number. I don't know what the heck is up with that, but they take 6 in a row against us. We bounce back to take 3 of 4 against Chicago, winning 2 games in extras, and then a big offensive outburst in Game 1 against Cincinnati kind of carries us throughout. We take 2 of 3, and now we are here on the 16th. So we didn't make it through this stretch of games cleanly. I will say we suffered 2 additional injuries. They are just stacking up, you guys. And we actually had to put the guys on the IL. Jojo Romero was the first one. Just a sore shoulder, but, moderate effect throwing. It was a 1-week duration. I'm rather cautious when it comes to shoulder injuries. We've seen how detrimental they can be, so decided to just throw him on the IL. And we called back up Ben Abelt, who has been pretty decent in his games since he's been up. I don't think he's only allowed 2 hits over 2 2/3, so pretty good. Just fill in from him. The other one is more substantial. It's a herniated disc for Nick Gonzalez. It was a 1 to 2 week injury. He has 5 days left of injury time, 6 days left on the IL. So, he's always been fragile, so it's kind of a miracle he stayed healthy as long as he has. We haven't really experienced many major injuries with him, knock on wood, so hopefully he can bounce back rather quickly, but we just yo-yoed Alex Harrington back up immediately. But rather than start Alex Harrington, he's kind of been rough for us at the major league level, negative WAR player. We actually slotted him into a bench role, and we're, funnily enough, starting Dean Curley just because why not? I saw he was 3 for 3, 2 for 5 in a couple games, so I was like, let's give Dean a shot here, even though it's just a super limited sample. I think that will be just kind of funny. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if he'll ever really get another shot, so maybe this is his one chance to get some playing time. But anyway, the team, we're 71 and 51. I wanted to show you the standings here against the Dodgers. We are tied with them. They've kind of made up some ground, but we're both just 500 over our last 10 or so. So still a decent lead over the White Sox and the Angels for best record in all of baseball, although the Phillies are lurking as well, so are the Orioles. When we go to, what was I going to do? Expanded standings. You can see our run differential is looking really nice. LA, though, has a much better run differential. We kind of look at our strengths and weaknesses. We're a pretty balanced team. We're like good both home and away in extra innings, one-run games. So, lefty, righty. I think we're much more well-balanced this year. I did end up making a change at closer. I put Brian Abreu back there. This is just recent. We haven't played any games on this new setup, but Alvarado was, through 7 games, he blew 2 saves with us. He was only 2 for 2. He's walking a ton. I think he's just struggling to adjust, similar to how Cade Smith was with us last year. So we're going to bump him down to lower leverage, setup, and alternate role as a specialist. And hopefully this works out a little better. Brian Abreu has been pretty hot for us lately, so back into the closer role he goes. I wanted to review the team stats, though. I realized we never touched on July as a whole. I was sort of eager to get going into August, but just a 500 month for us, so not the best. But August is off to a slightly better start, 7-6. Still looking good across the majority of categories here. Strikeouts, though, we are last in the NL. Not sure what's up with that. As far as pitching goes, it's all relatively where we want it to be. I don't think anything is super outrageous. Home runs are a little elevated, which not great. And I guess we are walking a ton of guys as well. I don't know where that is coming from. I don't know who, other than our relievers possibly, because all of our starting pitchers have plus control, so that's really confusing to me. But I guess we could just look, too. We could, sort by walk per 9 and see. I mean, Tyler August, yeah, sure. But, all of our starters are good. Hunter Green's walking actually quite a bit. 4.2 is a lot, so maybe his control is starting to regress. But anyway, we have pending business today. We're not just recapping news. We have decisions to make on camera together. And that, of course, is our favorite time of year, the Arizona Fall League roster selection deadline. So I have not taken a look at this. We're going to do this live and just figure it out. But our team is the Sagueros here. And it looks like there is a pool of 129 players available to us. We are, of course, going to ask AI to set up the roster on its own. And then we are going to take our own look at guys who are on in our organization, rather, to kind of make sure all the guys we want in there are, in there. So there's actually quite a few pitchers here this season. We have monopolized the team here with our pitching staff. So I'm looking through. I like Brian Hiles. Brian Hiles is one of our early draft picks in 2027. He was a 4th-round pick. He's now made his way up to AAA, where he's been a positive WAR player, and he's pitching really well. He's on a heater this whole season. We started him out in AA, made 15 starts down there at a 3.3, 2.8 WAR player. Now he's taking his game to another level here at AAA, and I think it's honestly possible he is our 5th starter next year because, 22, I think he's knocking on the door toward being, Major League ready. And I think we are going to give him Fall League run because why not? Let's see what he can do. I don't really care about any of these other guys. I mean, I sort of care about Jacob McGovern, so maybe we look to swap someone out. Jason Solis is also here, but you can see how he has really fallen off in the eyes of our scout. Now playing at AAA, 23, almost 24 years old. He hasn't been great, guys. He's walking 8 per 9. I don't know if our 2nd-round pick in 2028 is really ever going to live up to the expectations we had for him, and his stamina and hold runners just keep deteriorating. It's just what are we doing here? He's looking more and more like a reliever every day, but maybe this can awaken something within him. Levi Sterling is a real player who we like. He's still just 23. We'll definitely throw him there. I'm sort of like, I want to get McGovern in, I think, and I'm just wondering at the expense of who. Probably Brock Blatter, because he's pretty much done. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull Blatter, add McGovern, and I think I'm good with that. Everyone else here can go and be good. Let's look at batters now. So if we just look at it by position here, I see some guys I like in here. I think Zach Hammer is probably our most promising catcher that we have on the approaching major league readiness. I see him as sort of the transition off of Axel Plaus. Once Axel Plaus starts to get into arbitration, I don't want to be paying that much money for a backup right-handed catcher. I think Zach Hammer can take that role and serve as a platoon bat against left-handed pitching. He's a 13th round pick, so a real success story for us late in the draft. You think he has more power to tap into, but this is his first season at AA, where he's been, pretty good. 1.2 WAR, positive hitter as well, 113 WRC plus. Like the defense, I think we're good to push him in the fall league. I don't know that we would commit dev lab resources to a backup catcher, so I'm good with that. Not really sure who else needs to go here. I mean, there are several names. I mean, I like Weinbarger. I don't want Ben Small to go because I would rather get him in the dev lab. He's not been all that great, although his average is climbing. If you look at these numbers like day over day, I think it's climbing a bit. He's starting to turn it around at AA. He really kind of struggled there to start the year, but I think he's hot lately if we go into his splits here. And yeah, he's got a 147 WRC plus in the month of August, so looks like he's finally hitting his stride. But that said, I still want to get him in the dev lab on some sort of program here with his power and eye to try to grow that up. He's already a 40 grade, and same for Phil Goodall too. He's already a 45 grade. They're both looking really, really good. It's going to be hard to keep them out of the majors when they're both looking so good. And then we have Seth Weinberger as well, who is an 11th round pick in 2027, who might need to be playing at a higher level. I mean, we pushed him to A-ball recently. He's only got 17 games there, and he's, I guess, still figuring it out. But, he's also 21 and looking really good. So not that he would ever play center or anything for us. He's more just like a strict corner guy. But he looks awesome. I think we're going to pull out Ben Small, though. Not sure who else to add here. I think Florentino could make sense, but also Jacob Parker could make sense. So let's go Florentino for sure. I am torn on what we want to do in the middle infield here, because I don't know that I love any of the guys in here at all. They have Ron Burks here. Ron Burks is a 10th round pick in 2028 for us, really plus defender, good personality, fringe bat, but at almost 25, I guess it probably does make sense that he would go. He's a switch hitter, which is cool. This is his first year at AA ball, so I think it's likely we could add him to the 40-man next year and just kind of bring him up and down as needed as sort of a defensive substitute plug and play. He does have 45 potential on the top end. That's sort of what I'm looking at here with this. I don't know that anyone else is really necessary to get in there. I mean, you could maybe say Jacob Parker, but I would kind of rather have Phil Goodall and Weinberger in there. So I think we're going to do these. Of course, including Goodall would mean that he's ineligible for a dev lab program, which I don't know. Should we get him into the dev lab on a power program? I don't know if we have space on the roster to have that many guys. So I think we're just going to let him go, and I'm confident we can find work with somebody else to get in the dev lab. I think we're good with this. I'm going to hit finalize and leave it there. But I'm actually running a little short on time, you guys, so I'm actually going to call the episode here. I don't want this to go too long and the next episode to be super short. So, I know we didn't do much in this episode, but it was fun, I guess, to spend time together. I just wanted to get something out for you guys on a consistent basis, and then in the next episode, we'll look to finish the year. We're going to do it all in total, go all the way through September, and kind of see how the team looks. So that involves September call-ups, that involves sweating games down the stretch. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I always appreciate you tuning into these episodes as soon as they drop. That's much appreciated. If you're an early morning viewer when I upload these every day, definitely leave a like on the video. So shout out to you for tuning in right when they upload. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow with the end of the season. Take care. Have a good one.